So instead of catch and release, we let them know if you're going to sail in your drugs toward our country in international waters, we will target your drug boats and we will sink them. I don't know if you've noticed, there haven't been many boats sunk recently because we can't find any boats to sink. On January 3rd, the whole world saw what our military is capable of at every echelon. The most sophisticated single raid in the history of the planet. I remember when Nicolás Maduro mocked us and said, "I'm right here, come get me." Well, he found out. In our own hemisphere, how long have leaders been talking about a war on drugs or taking drugs off our streets? Well, for a long time, it was simply a catch and release program, a law enforcement function that didn't work. But these narco-terrorists, designated terrorist organizations, targeted our communities, our kids, and our people in our country. They knew exactly what they were doing. So instead of catch and release, we let them know if you're going to sail in your drugs toward our country in international waters, we will target your drug boats and we will sink them. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, there haven't been many boats sunk recently because we can't find any boats to sink. You see, no one wants to get in a narco boat anymore. And that's the whole point. And then on January 3rd, the whole world saw what our military is capable of at every echelon. When we brought the indicted nominal leader of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, from a fortified house in the most fortified location, inside their biggest fort, in their capital city, in the middle of the night, without them knowing we were there until 3 minutes before. The most sophisticated single raid in the history of the planet. No other president before President Trump would have had the guts to make that call. And no other military in the world has the ability to do it. I remember when Nicolás Maduro mocked us and said, "I'm right here, come get me." Well, he found out. No more climate change worship or social justice or political correctness. We're done with all of that. We're just unleashing the warfighter to be lethal, trained, disciplined, accountable, and ready. And when you allow them to do that, they're really good at their job, as an indicted criminal in Venezuela found out about a month ago. We are allowing commanders to be commanders again, leaders to be leaders. And what they say back to us is the most affirming words we could ever hear. Those commanders are saying, we've never felt this supported before, ever in our time in command. Under President Trump and under the War Department, you're allowing us to use the authorities to go out and do what we need to do, clearing out the debris. That's music to my ears. That's my job, to serve those who serve, allowing our warfighters to be even more capable. Second, we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're on the Arsenal of Freedom tour. That's why we're here in Florida. We're going across the country for a couple of months, talking to industry, large like this one, and small. We need all of them. And we need you to move fast, at scale, at cost, to outcompete our adversaries, to rebuild our arsenal of freedom. President Trump did it in his first term, and we're doing it again. As you may have heard, the One Big Beautiful Bill provided the War Department a historic down payment of $150 billion to supercharge President Trump's defense capabilities. He has announced the goal to spend $1.5 trillion for our national defense in 2027. That is a massive message to the rest of the world that American strength is not going anywhere anytime soon. We will dominate in every domain. That One Big Beautiful Bill also provided $25 billion for the Golden Dome for America, revolutionizing our homeland defense through cutting-edge space-based capabilities, which we're going to need. We're talking about a vigilant constellation of next-generation sensors and satellites that will see every threat from every corner of the globe, paired with a network of space-based interceptors ready to neutralize any ballistic missile, any hypersonic weapon, any drone, long before it threatens our homeland. The kind of protection President Trump has promised the American people, and the War Department will deliver. That is how we establish total orbital supremacy. That is how we guarantee the safety and security of the American people. Space Force's General Gutlein has done a fantastic job so far leading the charge. He knows the path of what's expected for Golden Dome. I get briefed monthly on its progress. This is not something you see, President Reagan helped defeat the Soviets by casting a vision of SDI, of a dome. President Trump, given the companies we have in this country, like this one, can now make that vision a reality for the American people, a huge conundrum for our adversaries who are counting on a whole different dynamic. We will continue to work with our partners because we have to dominate the space domain. That means we'll ensure that we keep building rockets and engines and landers that you make here at scale and at speed. Third, we're reestablishing deterrence. So we're reviving the warrior ethos, rebuilding the military, and you have to reestablish deterrence if you've lost it. Whether it was the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan, a sin and a shame on our country, or what happened on October 7th with Hamas in Israel, or the war in Ukraine that never would have happened if President Trump was president. Radicals who shot at our ships and we didn't respond, or the invasion of our of tens of millions of illegals. The world saw an open invitation to challenge America under the previous administration. It didn't feel like America was prepared. Biden was asleep and Lloyd Austin was AWOL. So the first thing we did at the War Department was reestablish deterrence. It started on day one. We locked down the southern border. We've gone 8 months with 0 crossings at the southern border. Turns out we didn't need new authorities, we just needed a new president. Credit to Customs and Border Protection, our law enforcement partners, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and others who do a very difficult job every day. The War Department was proud to stand beside them since day one. We also reestablished deterrence through our efforts with the Houthis, Operation Rough Rider. Now, from the beginning, some people thought, the Houthis? Why do we have to deal with the Houthis? Well, it's because the Biden administration allowed Islamists to shoot at our commercial and military ships, and we didn't respond. All the way back to the presidency of Thomas Jefferson, we've understood that free navigation of the seas is a core tenet of the United States of America. You don't shoot at American ships. Yet Joe Biden allowed those attacks to go on as if it was a new normal, a new status quo. Well, we responded, and after 50 days of relentless bombing, the Houthis cried uncle. They said, okay, we won't shoot at your ships anymore. They were dying, literally and figuratively, to make a deal. And American ships now in that region and all around the world sail freely. Look at Iran and what President Trump said about their nuclear capabilities. Iran will never have a nuclear bomb. They didn't want to pay attention or believe him. So 7 beautiful B-2s flew 37 hours and dropped 14 precision munitions on top of their nuclear facilities, undetected, flawless, in the middle of the night, something only America, the United States of America, can do. Peace through strength, deterrence in action. We see the same thing with narco-terrorism.